everyone. Once again, I welcome all the students in our next session, that is for the chapter of physical and chemical change. So, in our previous session, we have already discussed so many points regarding how we can be classify the changes into different categories on the basis of whether it is slow or fast, or whether it is uh, permanent or reversible or irreversible, right? And so many characteristics. On the basis of that, we have just divide our changes. Now we have in the last we have just started that how we can be divide the changes, all the changes, into a physical and chemical change. So we have already started the physical change in our last lecture. That is so enough discussion we have also done why it is called a physical change, and because the new substance is not going to be formed, it is a reversible change, and the new things is not making into this change. And on the basis of this, we have said or some changes can be happen only in the state of the matter. That is what is called a physical change, and we can just understand with the help of this activities. So in this activities, just it is shown a take of glass of water and put it the ice into that water. So what will happen after a few minutes? You will just see the moisture which is accumulate outside the glass of the water, because the surface of the water glass will be temperature is very low. So whatever the moisture are present in the air, it will just accumulate over there, and inside the ice will be melt, and again if you freeze the ice, it will again get back into the solid form. So that is also a physical change only. So what do you observe on this outer surface of the beaker? That is a moisture which is from air. It is not going from inside of the glass, and that is only which is present into the air, because the surface is very cold. So the moisture from the air will be just accumulate onto the surface of the glass, and what happened to the ice inside the tumbler? It will just going to be melt slowly, and it will get converted into the liquid form, and again you can get back if you put into the refrigerator, if you give the less temperature. So this form of condensation or melting. So both the things will be happen. Inside the glass it is just melting, and outside the glass it is happening the condensation. So many examples we can be take for this to understand this change. Like we can also see the example of when you are using iron. So when you are just passing the electricity from the iron, the surface of the iron becoming hot, and you can be just do ironing, or you can be just make your cloth proper, or pressing of the cloth will be done. But when the flow of the current will be stopped, so the hot iron becomes cold again. So that is a physical change, and new thing is not formed into that, right? Only when the conditions or whatever the energy you are providing, the change is happen, and we are just removing the energy. So change will become come back to the normal stage. So that is why it is come under the physical change, because it is a temporary change, and the no new substance will be formed into that. So on the basis of these characteristics, we are just classifying into the physical change. Similarly, the preparation of the sugar solution in a physical change, as sugar can be easily recovered from its solution by the process of crystallization. Once you are just adding the sugar into the water, you just stir it, it will just totally dissolve, but you can be easily take back into the normal stage in the form of crystallization. When you just evaporate the water, water will be evaporate, and sugar will be keep behind in the form of crystal. So you can take it back, and the no new substance has formed. That is why it is going to be under the physical change. So there is one activity on the basis with the help of this activity, better you can understand. You just take a carrot and just cut into the small pieces. So what is the change between a carrot, a whole carrot, and these small slices? The shapes and the size of the carrot becoming changed. Now observe the color of the carrot piece and the taste of them. It is going to be the same, right? Only what will going to be changed in this activity? Only the shape of the carrot will be changed, but the taste and the color will becoming same in a whole carrot or in a sliced carrot. So that is only a physical change. And do you find any differences between the color and size? No, because it is going to be a same color as its whole carrot, and so no, there is no differences in the color or the taste. That means the properties of the carrot are present in its pieces too, although the shape and the sizes have changed. So what will the conclusion of this activity, once you cut the carrot into the small pieces, only the shape, physical state is changing, and the characteristics like its taste or its color will becoming same. So that is why it's not affecting on a characteristics, it's only affecting onto the physical state of that matter. So that is why it is come under the physical change. So does the physical change only affect the physical form of a substance, and the properties of the final products remain identical to the properties of the original substance. The properties are not going to be a change into the physical change. That is why it is called the physical change. It is only affecting onto the physical characteristics of the matter, and generally the changes can be reversed, but not always. In some cases you cannot be reversed, and in some example of the carrot mentioned above, once the carrot is cut it into the pieces, you cannot be make a original piece of the carrot, but it is come under the physical change. But other changes are so many changes we can be reversed into the same before. And physical changes can be understood further by some more examples explained below. So now we can take so many examples to understand better why it is called a physical change. Like here in activity 7 there are so many examples are given. On the basis of that we can be just understand. Like example number 1, in that you just take a balloon and just blow the air into that balloon. So the change of the shape of the balloon will be there, because it will expand. It will expand and it is change happen into its physical state, and when you release the air it will just become to the back to normal. So that is called a physical change, because the no new substance has formed, and it can be a reverse and it can become to the normal state. That is why it is called a physical change. Number 2 example, what is mentioned here, that is we can be see, take a piece of paper and cut it into the small square pieces, then cut each square pieces further into a 4 square pieces. Then it means we are making the smaller and smaller pieces of the paper. Lay these pieces on the floor or a table so that pieces acquire the shape of the original piece of the paper. You just arrange all the piece of the paper so it look like a original piece of the paper, but obviously you cannot make or join the pieces back to the make the original paper, but it can be take a shape of the original piece again. So again it will come under the physical change, and the property of a small pieces as the same of the property of a big piece of the paper. So the property is not going to be a change, and no new substance has formed. So that is why it is called a physical change, right? Number 3 example, you can say the take a dough or make a dough and make a ball of it, then try to roll a roti or chapati from this, and maybe you are not happy with the shape. Sometimes it's not coming to a proper shape. So what you can do, you can be just make it again, change into the dough, and again you can try for a new piece of roti. So that is why it is called by applying a certain force you can be just make it back to the normal state. So that is also come under the physical change, right? You can be bring it to back to the normal state. Number 4 example, you can see, to observe a physical change with the help of chalk dust. You can just take a piece of chalk and just crush it. After crush it, it will just convert into a small pieces of chalk. Then roll this paste, just add a small amount of the water, make a paste of chalk, then again put it into a frame of the chalk and make it dry. So what do you get? You will get back the chalk with the original properties. So therefore it is a physical change. The properties is remain same when it is a big piece or when it is a small pieces. So and the new substance is not going to be formed, and it is a reversible also. So that is why it is going to be under the category of physical change. So this basic point you just keep in mind. The properties will become same, no new substance will be formed, and so many examples can be reversed. So that is called a physical change. Again one activity is there, take a glass of water and put some salt into the water, stir it, salt dissolve and makes the water salty. There is no change in the appearance of the water. once you add a salts, the water will look same. So appearance is becoming a same. This shows that the salt retain its property and composition. Once you check the taste of the water, so you will feel a salty water. So the properties of the salt is remain present in, it's not going to be a change. And this further indicates that on the mixing of the salt with water, no new substance is formed. The new substance will form. Before only the salt is there, after is also the salt is there, and you can be just separate it. You can get back the salt from the water. So dissolution of the salt in the water is a physical change. Now heat the solution and water evaporates, leaving behind the salt. When you want get back the salt, you just heat the salt solution, water will evaporate and salt will leave behind. So that is why it is come under the physical change. You can get it back, no new substance is going to be formed, and characteristics of the substance will remain same. The characteristics of the salt is not going to change when it is dissolved into the water or when it is going taken back into the original states. So in the both the state, the salt characteristics is becoming same, right? So these are some examples. We can be just looking one after one to understand why it is called a physical change. This is the example we have seen already. The example of carrot we have seen. Once you are cutting into the smaller pieces also, it is the property of the carrot is going to be the same, and the color is going to be the same. Once you just melt the water, or once you just freeze the water by putting into the refrigerator, it is just changing the state of the water from liquid to solid. And once you giving melting, it is again coming back to the liquid form, but the properties of the water will remain same into the form of liquid or solid, and the no new substance is formed. That is why it is called a physical change. Number 3 activity, what we have seen, we are just adding a teaspoon of salt into the water. It will be looking the same, and the property of the salt is remain present into the water. Once you heat, the water will evaporate and the salt will leave behind. We can get back the salt from that solution. Once you heat the water, it will just changes into the steam. When you just cold the steam, or when you reduce the temperature, steam can be get back into the water, again into the water. So it is just only the changing state of the matter from liquid to vapor form, from vapor to again liquid. So that is why it is called a physical change. Only the physical properties are changing. So these are the different physical changes, and we observe that by applying a simple method, we can get back the original substances. That is why it is called a physical change, or that is a change is temporary. It's not a permanent change, right? Because it can be a get back. So there is one more activity that is shown to be demonstrated by the teacher. So what you have to take, you have to take a sodium, you have to take solid ammonium, right? Ammonium in the form of solid form, ammonium chloride, in a test tube, and heat it gently. So when we are heating the ammonium, it is not just converting into first liquid and then into the gaseous. You will observe that the solid changes into the vapors directly, and when the vapor touches the upper layer of the test tube, it is just becoming again solid form. So that is called sublimation. What is meant by the sublimation? In that, once you are giving the heat to a solid state of the matter, it is just directly converted into the vapor form. It is not just going to be converted first into the liquid and then into the vapor form. Directly from solid, it will just convert into the vapor form. And once here, it is just getting a cold environment on the top of the test tube, so it is just get again convert into the solid. That is called sublimate of ammonium chloride and ammonium chloride crystal. Before it is in a crystal form, when we are giving heat, it is just convert into the vapor form. When it is getting low temperature, again it will convert into the solid form. So from directly solid to gas, and after releasing the temperature from gas to directly solid, that process is called sublimation process, right? So this both the activity, the process of showing the sublimation on the changing the composition, that is also in the same next slide or next example also showing the same. Ammonium chloride, before it is in a solid form, once you giving heat, it will convert into the gaseous form, and here on the top surface or which is closed by the cotton plug, again vapor will get converted into the ammonium chloride into the solid. So cooler part of the test tube, it changes back into the solid ammonium, and it is called a sublimates or sublimation process. So this shows that no new substance is formed, only the state changes directly from solid to gas. But when the vapor is cooled, it is again changed into the original substance. That means the change is temporary and reversible. So in this process also you cannot see any new substance will form, only the state of the substance, only the states of that ammonia will just convert from solid to gas and from gas to solid. So no new substance is formed, and it is reversible change, and that is why it is called a temporary change, and it is going to become under the category of physical change only. So these are so many examples we are looking one by one, which is showing us why it is called a physical change, right? Because the no new substance is formed. Here you can see the reaction. Whenever we are writing a reversible reaction, as we have seen, we have to write in a two arrows or back arrows. So in this case of sublimation, from the solid, when we are giving the heat, it is just get converted into the gaseous form. It's not going to be converted into first liquid. Then when you are releasing the heat or we are just cooling it, so gas will convert into the solid form, right? So here what you have to be just remember, the changing a solid directly into a gaseous on heating, or vice versa. When you are cooling also, from gaseous state to the solid state, it is just convert. Passing through a liquid state is not there. It is called sublimation. The solid substances formed after cooling of vapor is called sublimates, right? The process or whole the process is called sublimation process, but the things which are going to be a change, that is called sublimates, right? Like we have seen the example of ammonium, so that is ammonium chloride, it is called a sublimates. And some other substances which can be sublimate are, you can take the example of camphor, you can take the example of naphthalene balls, which we are using in our general day-to-day life. So it is not going to be make a liquid form, directly it is evaporating. So many things we are just using for refreshing our rooms or in the bathrooms, that is directly means it's evaporating in the form of vapor. So that is called sublimation. Iodine also, and dry ice. What is dry ice? That is a solid form of carbon dioxide. It is very less temperature, which is used to preserve the food materials or some samples you can be also preserved. So it is not going to be a change into the liquid form, directly it is just converting into the gaseous form. So that is the advantage of that, and the process is called sublimation, right? So up to here we have just seen the so many examples, or why it is called a physical change, and on the basis of what we can be consider this is a physical change. Now the next we will see characteristics of a physical change. In each and everything we will just discuss about the characteristics. So what are the characteristics are actually present into this physical change, we will see now here. So number one, no new substances form, as I told you. It's only the state of the matter is changing from one state to another state, and there is change in the composition. There is no change in the composition. Once you are taking the example of water, once it is in a ice form or in the liquid form, the properties are going to be the same. There is no change into the composition of the substance. This is very important. First of all, no new substance will form. Second one, no any change into the characteristics or composition of that matter which is going to be under the change, and the properties of the substances remain change. Characteristics also, composition also becoming same, characteristics of the matter will becoming same, and the change is temporary, right? It is not a permanent change, because we can be take it reverse. It is a temporary and can be reversed by changing the conditions in the most of the cases. In the most of the examples, once you are just changing the condition, once you are giving the heat, it is changing. Once you are reducing the heat, it is come back to the original state. So it is a temporary change, can be a reversible change also, but we have to be just remove the forces what we are applying, or the conditions we have to be reverse. So there may be a changes in the state, size, shape, color and smells of the substances during the physical change, right? It can be only the change happening into the physical state. Color can be changed, sometime a physical state can be changed, smell can be changed, but the characteristics or composition will remain same of the matter. So there may be or may not be any change of energy, any exchange of the energy during the physical change. Once the change is happening, so normally the heat can be absorbed or can be released. So there is we can be say in this case there may be or may not be exchange of energy during the physical change. There is possibly can be change the energy, there is possibility, or may not be exchange of energy in the change of physical change. So these are the some characteristics. On the basis of that we can be say this is the physical process, right? If these properties are not matching, we cannot say this is the physical process. So example of physical changes we can be say, we can be take like melting of ice cream, melting of butter. These are the examples. So with the help of this example we can be easily understand which is going to be a physical and which is going to be a chemical change. Melting of ice cream, physical change. Melting of butter, glowing of bulb, cutting of grass, right? And heating of an electric iron, because once you remove the electricity it is again get back to the normal state. Boiling or freezing of the water, sublimation of camphor as we have seen in our last activity, or iodine, so it can be get back to the normal stage and no new substance is formed. That is why iodine, making of sugar, salt and solution in the water. Once you are adding a sugar or the salt into the solution, again you can be get back into the normal state. It can be a reversible change. And beating of metal into sheets, right? In the industry process we just this is the one the characteristics of the metal also, it can be beaten into the sheets. So this is also one of the physical change you can say, right? Magnetization of iron, we can be just magnetizing to some ions, so we can be remove it, so it will remove the effects. Formation of cloud mist and shaping of glass, crystallization of sugar, dissolving of ammonium chloride in the water, etc. These are all the examples what we have discussed here. This all going to be come into the physical change only, right? Now these are some characteristics we have seen. Now the terms involved into some physical changes. What are the terms on the basis of what? As we have said, after applying some force or after changing the environment or some changing into the environment, the change will happen. So what are the terms involved into the physical change? So now you know that interconversion of the states of the matter from solid to liquid, from liquid to gas, it is known as a physical change. But there are some changes into the another state, vice versa. Similarly, when the solution is formed, a substance mixed with another substance, when the substance is mixing into the another substance, it is also going to be a change. So now let us study the meaning of different terms. What are the terms? Number one term is dissolving. We are saying we are dissolving the water into, we are dissolving the salt into the water. So dissolving is the process in which the substance known as solute mixes completely with another substance known as solvent. Like we are adding a salt, that salt is completely mixing into the water, so that is why salt is a solute and water is solvent. So that is a term is called dissolving. And it is making a homogeneous solution or homogeneous mixture called solution. What is homogeneous? The amount will be just whatever we are adding into that liquid will be just dissolved completely, and you can be find from anywhere, it will get a same combination. So sugar dissolves into the water. So these are the terms we are using: dissolve, dissolving. So that is means we can be completely mixing one solute into the solvent. One more term that is called freezing. Freezing, everybody know what is the freezing. That is substances from a liquid is changing into the solid on a cooling at a particular temperature. That is called a freezing or solidification, right? As we are just keeping the water into the refrigerator and it is just converting into the solid, so that is called freezing. It is just freezing up to a particular temperature. And what is mean by freezing point? This is a particular point where the liquid get just converting into the solid. The temperature at which a liquid starts changing into the solid state. Before it is a liquid state, from what temperature exactly it is just start getting converted into the solid form, that is called a freezing point. It's freezing point, and all pure substances have a definite freezing point. Example, water having a freezing point of 0 degree centigrade into ice. If you are putting a water into a 0 degree centigrade, so from 0 degree centigrade just start getting converted into a solid form, so that is why it is called a freezing point. Okay, understood? The next we can take the point, that is melting. Melting means the process in which the substance is in the solid state changes into the liquid state at a particular temperature. Once you are taking the ice and you are just giving a high temperature, so it is just melting. It is melting from solid to liquid, that is called melting. And melting point, what is the point? At a particular point where at the temperature which a solid gets start melting. A solid have a definite melting points. All the solids that is having a definite melting point. From that point of the temperature, solid gets start melting. Melting a point of ice is 0 degree centigrade, right? So normally numerically the melting point and freezing points of the substance are same. Numerically the melting point and freezing points of the substance is same, because water gets start solidifying or converting into the ice, that is also the 0, right? After 0 it is just getting convert from liquid to solid, and if it is going above the 0, that is also again it is just converting from solid to liquid. So that is 0 is a temperature, that is a point which is same for the freezing and melting both. That is called a melting point. Now what is boiling? The process in which the liquid heating and changes into the vapor, it starts getting into the vapor at a particular temperature is called a boiling. The process which the liquid on heating changes into the vapor state, from liquid to vapor state, it is just start converting. And what is actually the boiling point? The temperature at which liquid starts changing into the vapor. What is exactly the temperature from which the liquid gets start getting into the vapor on heating at a given pressure? It is called a boiling point. And all pure liquids have a definite boiling points. Example, boiling point of water is 100 degree centigrade. So on a 100 degree centigrade, water gets start converting into a vapor form, that is called a boiling point of water. See, so these all points we are just looking several characteristics on the basis of how we can be classify, or how we can be just convert solid into a liquid, or from liquid into the solid. So these are all the points. At the basis of that or this very important terms you just keep in your mind. I request all the students just write down these important terms, like what is melting, what is boiling, what is freezing points, what is evaporation points, and just go through this once again. And we will stop we just stop here. In the next lesson we will just discuss about the remaining important terms, that is evaporation and other points. So up to that, just go through this all the slides one more time, and write down whatever the activities I have given to you for writing, and we'll see you in the next lecture. Take care.